Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. I say good morning. My cat says meow. I say good morning, and my kitty says meow. What, whiny butt? Best Jean, the whiny butt. Let's put that over here. Get the microphone set. Looks like we're going to be in the 12 by 12 today. I gave in and went with the daily reflection. All right. So, even though I'm kind of tired to talk about step 3 already this month, it's all right. It's all right. It gets tough finding, even a topic a day, every day for years on end becomes a little difficult. So I appreciate everybody's patience. All right. Hold on 1 second. What are you doing, dumbass? Don't mess that up. All right. I don't know how many people we'll get today. I think everybody's kind of used to me doing this later at 11 o'clock. Maybe I'll just start sticking to 11 o'clock. This one will be a little bit shorter. That's all right with me. Whatever is clever, right? So this morning we're going to be talking about good orderly direction, which stands for, well, it's a phrase that we use in AA for God. It's what do you call it? An acronym. An acronym, a TLA, a 3-letter acronym. Only true geeks will get that joke. Only true geeks will get that one. Let's go with orange today. We're going to go with orange. Trying to make it a little more colorful. Then we can use this one. Should probably do all that before I get started, but I got to do something while I'm waiting for people to get here. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm going to be your host today in the foreseeable future. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. Let's kind of get down to this. It says we're going to be on page 40. But we're going to go back a little bit. We're going to go back to the top of page 39 here. So, exactly how can the willing person continue to turn his will and his life over to a higher power? Best way to do that is pray. Pray each day. When I get up in the morning, I get my coffee, I have a cigarette, and I pray. It's the first thing I do. I start my day out with some prayer, get my mind in the right place, get going for the day, right? He made a beginning we have seen when he commenced to rely on AA for the solution of his alcohol problem. I was just talking to somebody yesterday, and I hear people, and I hear this often where people will say that they're not sure that they believe in God, but the obsession has been removed. Um, and you couldn't do it before. I mean, you prayed, it was answered, and yet you still refuse to believe. Okay, that is what I would call obstinance. Okay, belligerent denial. Okay, there's denial, and then there's just being belligerent, so you can be denial, even though the proof is in front of you. That would be belligerent denial. The proof, the facts, everything is sitting right in front of you, and you refuse to look at it. You refuse to admit it. By now, though, the chances are that he has become convinced that he has more problems than alcohol, and that some of these refuse to be solved by all the sheer personal determination and courage he can muster. Hmm. Yeah, the unaided will is not going to survive very long in this process. You know, people will read the big book on their own, and it's unfortunate because they don't quite get what the big book is saying without another person. We alcoholics automatically have the cart before the horse in almost everything that we do. So I always need a good steady direction, man. They simply will not budge. They make him desperately unhappy and threaten his newfound sobriety. Our friend is still victimized by remorse and guilt when he thinks of yesterday. Bitterness still overpowers him when he broods upon those he still envies or hates. His financial insecurity worries him sick and panic taken over when he thinks all the bridges of safety that alcohol burned behind him. And how shall he ever straighten out that awful jam that cost him the affection of his family and separated him from them? His lone courage and unaided will cannot do it. Surely he must now depend upon somebody or something else. And we all go through this to a certain extent when we get into the program. We didn't come here by accident. Nobody comes skipping into AA. Never seen it. I've been to a lot of AA meetings. No. And this can go on for months. The shame, the guilt, the burden. It's unnecessary. Did you make mistakes in life? Yes, you did, but don't you fret. We're going to get to them. We're going to take care of those things. Got to learn how to trust the process. Take a look around you. See that there's other people in this world who've probably gone down further than you have, who have made it. Morning, Leisure. It's good to see you. All around you, there's proof that there's proof that people can get better. There's proof that people can change. You know, it's quite often I watch a lot of people go through a lot of adversity to make it to the other side, right? And we tend to think that alcohol is the problem. No, alcohol can cause more problems, but it was the solution to our problems. It was a solution to my problem. It wasn't anything really more than that. Yeah. Hmm. At first, that somebody is likely to be his closest AA friend, sponsor, closed mouth friend. Yeah. He relies upon the assurance that his many troubles, now made more acute because he cannot use alcohol to kill the pain, can be solved too. Now, here's the thing. When we alcoholics get into the program, we have a lot of problems. The fortunate thing is this: a lot of them aren't even true. A lot of them don't even exist. At least that's for me was my problem. You know, what happens when we drink, we don't dream. When you don't dream, you don't get dream sleep, REM. So therefore you live in a dream world. And that is it. That's just scientific fact, man. So if you drink every night, well, years of not sleeping is going to do what? Well, it's going to make you crazy. It's going to make you go cuckoo. Sure is. It's one of the problems. Right. And it says it clearly in doctor's opinion. After a while, the alcoholic can't differentiate the true from the false. And that is what part of what they're talking about right there. The good news is this: most of your problems are just going to go away because they weren't there. They didn't exist. You created those, right? What's the other thing that happens? Well, any problem that was true, we made into a mountain. We made it bigger than life. It's kind of like storytelling. When I storytell, I embellish. It's storytelling. You're supposed to embellish during storytelling. Now, not war stories, storytelling, right? Things that are bigger than life, right? So we get to a point where we can right size our problems so that we can work on them. Yeah. Leisure says, I'm good at creating my own imaginary problems. Yeah. And we still do it to some extent because it's habit. Like thinking that people are after you. People that somebody posts something on Facebook and you think it's directed at you. At first, it's somebody, of course, the sponsor points out that our friend's life is still unmanageable, even though he is sober, that after all, only a bare start on AA's program has been made. More sobriety brought about by the admission of alcoholism and by the attendance at a few meetings, very good indeed. But it is bound to be a far cry from permanent sobriety and a contented, useful life. Yeah, a lot of people come in, they hit some meetings. Oh, feel better, look better, having a better time. Ain't it grand? The wind stopped blowing, ma. Ain't it grand? That is just where the remaining steps of AA program come in. Nothing short of continuous action upon these as a way of life can bring much desired result. This next part that we're getting ready to read, it's hardly ever brought up in AA meetings, and it needs to be talked about. Okay. See, step 3 isn't just a step, it's the most important step. You probably thought 1 was. No, 3 is the most important step. It is a pivot. It is a movement. It is where we are reborn. It is where the death of the old self happens. It is where the death of our best friend happens when we're getting rid of alcohol. Okay. And I have found that people that do not do the 3rd step correctly cannot complete the 4th step. Not in its full implications. That's been my experience. May not be true for everybody. And that's okay. That's your experience. I can only talk for mine. Okay. Then it is explained that the other steps of AA program can be practiced with success only when step 3 is given a determined and persistent trial. What does persistent mean? It means time. You can't be persistent for 24 hours in the 3rd step work. Maybe sometimes, maybe with a quick, so those sudden spiritual experiences, that could probably happen. Yeah. Okay. Why is it so difficult? Because you got to give everything over, everything. And that's hard for an alcoholic. It's like jumping off a cliff. You're going to have to do something in your life you haven't done before. You're going to have a little bit of faith. You got to find that higher power of your understanding. And the key is this: get rid of every single preconceived notion that you thought you had about a God, about a higher power. Clear the slate clean. Press the reset button. If I come up with other examples for that, I most certainly will. But it will not. It will not. You know what the person will do in the 4th step? They'll go back out. That's usually what happens. We call it the AA shuffle. 1, 2, 3, slip. 1, 2, 3, slip. That action portion, because see, when we start to get into the 4th step, it's action. Now, it doesn't take much effort. It doesn't take much thought It doesn't take much to make your connection with your higher power. Then we add on these silly little things. Mine was God wasn't going to take me back. He gave me a chance and he wasn't going to take me back. That was my lame excuse for not getting closer to God. And what was it? It was an excuse. I even knew better than that. But I had convinced myself that that was the case. And guess what? I was wrong. I was wrong. And I'm happy that I was wrong. Yep. Today I'm happy that I was wrong about that. Right? Because we're going to need guidance when it comes to that 4th step, or we will make excuse after excuse after excuse. Oh, well, nobody ever really upset me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to upset you right then and there. I'm going to start pushing your buttons. Oh, I thought you didn't get angry. Why are you getting angry with me? Then something will come up. Oh, stupid headphones, they ain't working. They ain't working. A motherfucker in here. Wait, whoa. You better put those headphones on your 4th step. Don't tell me you don't get angry. You just did it right in front of me. Oh, yeah, you do have, maybe I do. I'm not going to put my mom on there. She never did anything to me. Oh, did you ever steal from your mother? Yeah, then she needs to be on your list. See, people think that the resentment list is about the resentments that we had against other people. No, it's resentments in general. The key is this. If it popped into your head, write it down. You ask God for guidance and direction. He put it in your head, and you're going to try and decide all by yourself, back to all by yourself, and you're lonesome, that you're not going to put it down because you didn't get angry. Well, what about the other person? Did the other person get angry with you, or did something happen there? It doesn't always need to come out in anger. It can come out in depression. It can come out in excitement. It's the overextension of these everyday feelings that other people get that Dion cannot handle. I can't. If things get too exciting, it's hard for me. But I'd rather deal with excitement than death. I'd still rather deal with that. All right. This statement may surprise newcomers who have experienced nothing but constant deflation and a growing conviction that the human will is of no value whatsoever. They have become persuaded, and rightly so, that many problems besides alcohol will not yield to a headlong assault powered by the individual alone. And it's not going to happen. I've watched person after person after person try this, and they have either failed and come back or died an alcoholic death. Not something I want. I already put my family through enough. That's not something I'm going to put them through. No. It's not something I want to experience. Thank you. All right. All by himself and in light of his own circumstances, he needs to develop the quality of willingness. So there is one thing that you do by yourself, and it's stand naked before your creator. Oh, he talks about that anymore either. You're supposed to stand naked before your creator. That's not in a literal sense. It means that you're saying, God, I want you to take all of it. What was the 3rd step prayer? God, I offer myself to thee. That very first line is saying all of it. Because it is clear that Dion doesn't know how to work with these things yet. But now I do. There does come a day in the 10th step. You do the program right in the 10th step, you're going to be free. You're going to be so free. You become a recovered alcoholic. Recovered means that you are no longer insane. That's all it means. We are not cured of alcoholism. There's no cure for it. There's a new way of life. I'd much rather have a new way of life than a cure. Even if a cure did come out, I'm not sure I'd take it so I could drink like normal people. I love what I have today. I don't want it. Don't need it. Hmm. Don't even bother. It's like and shoots. They're like, "Do you have an alcohol problem? Let's see if we can cure that with CBD." It's like, come on. Are we really going these routes again? Is this what we're discovering? You know, microdosing mushrooms to for no, it isn't gonna work. It isn't gonna happen. Okay. We're not your fucking test rats. Shame on you, Ann Shoots. Shame on you. And I don't think Ann Shoots herself would have been okay with with her money being used in order to experiment on alcoholics when we could take that money and put up a treatment center and help more alcoholics. Silly. Anyway, now that Dion got his little crap out, right? When he acquires willingness, love you too, Leisure. When he acquires willingness, he is the only one that can make the decision to exert himself. Trying to do this is an act of his own will. All of 12 steps require sustained and personal exertion to conform to their principles, and so we trust to God's will. It's trust, man. You got to start somewhere. So here's the challenge if you're new. If you're new, try this for 60 days. Try it for 60 days. If it doesn't work, get in touch with me and I'll write you a receipt for your misery and you can go on your merry way. I ain't kidding. I'm not kidding. Because that's in my experience, and I've never seen it any other way. You either take this valued step. This is what separates things. Because that fourth step is the biggest chunk you're going to do, and it's next. And you know it. You know it. You may even win a red up on it a little bit and be like, oh no, oh no. All right. But we're not talking about the fourth step. All right. So next part is where it's going to come from today's reading. Now I gotta tell you something. I understand where they're saying when they say good orderly direction, but good orderly direction is not bigger than me and is not in my book a valid higher power. It is a decision, a statement that does not give praise to God. It does not create humility. Group of drunks is probably better. At least that's bigger than you for the moment. But even that group of drunks becomes fallible. I've watched a whole group of drunks become fallible. Yes, I have. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen it all the time. A good orderly direction. I get it. But then that's just going to lead to the next right thing. So are you going to pray to good orderly direction? Not really bigger than you. I'm just saying. Got to get serious about this shit, man. Okay, we can't be lazy. Okay. Yes, it only takes a little bit to make that connection. But if the good orderly direction is going to help you make the connection, you're going to have to get down to brass tacks sooner or later. Okay. Even group of drunks, eventually you're going to have to find your own higher power. Nature. That'll work. The sky, it's bigger than you. The forest. These are things that are bigger than you. But a statement is not. It is when we try to conform, is when we try to make our will conform to God's that we begin to use it rightly. To all of us, this was the most wonderful revelation. Our whole trouble had been the misuse of willpower. We had tried to bombard our problems with it instead of attempting to bring it into agreement with God's intention for us. To make this increasingly possible is the purpose of AA's 12 steps, and step 3 opens the door. Sorry. Having some pains. All right. Once we have come into agreement with these ideas, it is really easy to begin the practice of step 3. In all times of emotional disturbance or indecision, we can pause, ask for quiet in the stillness, simply say, God, grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right, let's get to today's reading. All I have to do is look back at my past to see where my self-will has led me. I just don't know what's best for me, and I believe my higher power does, God, which I define as good, orderly direction, has never let me down. But I have let myself down quite often. Using my self-will in a situation usually has the same result as forcing the wrong piece into a jigsaw puzzle: exhaustion and frustration. Step 3 opens the door to the rest of the program. When I ask God for guidance, I know that whatever happens is the best possible situation. Things are exactly as they're supposed to be, even if they aren't what I want or expect. God does for me what I cannot do for myself if I let him. Well, yay. All right, that's going to be it for this one. I'll probably be back this afternoon. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.